Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve Larson, where tonight we will be live reacting to AEW's anniversary show. Should be a lot of fun. Tony Khan was really talking it up today, either on Twitter or maybe in an interview. I don't know. I saw some stuff that he had said.
An interview with PW Insider.
There you go.
A little bit.
Awesome. We should bring him on the show here at Going In Raw, man.
Definitely should. That'd be great.
I'll just text him right now. Hey, TK. Fair enough. SH here. Come on by. Swing by. So that should be a lot of fun. Just some good matches on the card. I'm putting up my Larson's on Road from Milk. So he's looking to score that AEW title.
I went from Ultimo to nothing, and now I'm on the road back to Ultimo.
Yeah, man. So that should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we're going to recap it afterwards. Some sort of huge announcement to be made tonight. We're going to talk about what that possibly can be in a second. And we're going to talk about, of course, the debut of Pro Wrestling's newest, brightest star, Tony D'Angelo, on NXT 2.0. But first, want to let you know, if you like Going In Raw in the audio realm and you want the show ad-free, there's two ways to do that. Number one, $3 a month at goinginraw.supercast.tech. Or if you want our bonus content, 2 episodes every single week. The numbers don't lie, and Power Rank, you can get those as well as all of the shows ad-free at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Really quick, want to give a quick shout out to a couple of new patrons that we've got. Dan Simone, Terry Smith, and Ian B. Thank you very much for your support. I think there's a couple other names here. What is this? Olivier Trotier, Isaias Peralta. Thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow should be interesting. The Undertaker is on The Numbers Don't Lie. He's not a guest. We're going to analyze The Undertaker.
Yeah, I was
on
like,
The Numbers Don't Lie.
Got The Undertaker on?
All right, guys. Who didn't give me a 10 on everything? Time for your last ride. Sorry,
Mark. I gotta be honest here. You're not 10s across the board.
You're like a 7.5 in ring, buddy.
That's literally the exact number I have.
Your promos are serviceable, but they've never been great.
Nope.
You might get a 6 on that and kind of feel lucky about it. Legacy 10, though. Really good legacy. Anyways. That's too much of a preview for you guys. It's a spoiler.
We gave half
there.
the scores, if not more.
Right? Anyways, let's talk about that AEW anniversary show. So some huge announcement. What's up with this?
So in an interview with PW Insider's Mike Johnson, promote tonight's anniversary show, Tony Khan mentioned that he's got some announcements in store for us. That's what Tony had to say. Quote, so there's a lot of great wrestling. I'm going to have some fun announcements, and it's going to be a really special show. And I can tell you right now, I have one huge announcement on the show. He says later on, it's been something a long time coming. I'm very excited about it, proud of it. And it'll really add a lot to the company, I think.
A lot of titles, like 3. It's going to be a trios title, right?
That'd be my guess, yes.
Yeah, probably be a trios. I mean, I know there was the... God, what was it? A report, rumor? What was it about the women's title? Did he acknowledge that, or was that just a rumor that was out there?
I believe that was just a report. Chatter out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be both. It could be one, could be the other. But you got to figure, man. They got so many people. I think that a trios title is kind of overdue, to be honest with you.
That's something they've been asked about and have mentioned when asked about it several times. That's something that's a possibility. Tony Khan has also talked about doing a huge show in the United Kingdom. Doesn't his dad own Fulham? That's the soccer team.
Yeah.
Sorry, the football team.
FC, I think.
Yeah.
Football club.
Yeah. And having a show at their stadium. It'd be something else if they announced a huge stadium show here in the States. Whether it be in Jacksonville or elsewhere. I mean, they got to be feeling pretty good about the houses they've been filling of late. United Center selling that place out.
Yeah.
Arthur Ashe Stadium selling that place out. if they could find a time and place to do a huge stadium show.
Mm-hmm.
That could be pretty neat.
Yeah, that'd be pretty big. That'd be a pretty big deal. Yeah, that's good stuff. I wanted to point this out before I forget. We do have some new Halloween merchandise available at friendomerch.com. And I just got this one in the mail because I got a sample. And I was shocked. You know, it used to be that you get a digital on-demand print-up shirt. And like this looks like a screen printed shirt. This looks amazing. This is one of the designs that we have up right now. Look at the colors on that, man.
That pops.
It's spooky because it's for the Halloween. But look at that. Yeah. It's got the green, it's got the purple, it's got the orange. That's just one of 3 new designs that we've got there at the shop. We got a couple stickers up with some of those logos too. So you can check that out at friendomerch.com. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
That's our slogan for that. It's
some great stuff.
Yeah.
Some great stuff.
Let's talk about this really quick before we get into the NXT. I just wanted to bring this up, advertise it a little bit for us, but also very exciting stuff. Fans are coming back to NXT UK. Now, I know a lot of people out there obviously don't watch NXT UK. It's a shame because it's a thoroughly entertaining 1-hour show. We talked about this during the pre-show. I think any company out there, any wrestling company out there worth their salt should be able to put on a 1-hour weekly show and no pay-per-views. And because if NXT UK has done it, you can do it too. Because they have done it successfully throughout the pandemic. No pay-per-view or no network specials, whatever you want to call them. No takeovers. We're still waiting on that Dublin one. I think that was the one that was next on tap. Still waiting on Walter versus Finn Balor. Evidently, that's not going to happen.
Well, unless Walter ends up on Raw somehow.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, we watch NXT UK every Thursday as our part of our watch along on Thursdays at noon. It's a lot of fun. Usually we have like 100 friendos. Let's try to get a couple more of those friendos here in the house because especially, man, a lot of the stuff they got going on there is a lot of fun. And to see fans there, those UK fans are always just top notch. Yeah. Really top notch. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring, what kind of energy they bring to the BT Sport Arena there in, I'm assuming London. I don't know where they are.
I would think so, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
don't know for sure. All right, let's get into this NXT recap, Steve. I'm sure you want to talk about the top news coming out of the episode, which is, of course, Bron Breakker versus Tommaso Ciampa for that NXT title in 3 weeks' time at Halloween Havoc. You got to assume Bron Breakker is going to be your next champion in 3 weeks, yes?
Probably. I mean, I need a little bit more info. I mean, look, all signs point to, they're hot-shotting 2.0. Although, last night, there was an opportunity to put the tag titles on Briggs and Jensen. It was Briggs and Jensen, it was Grizzled Young Vets, it was MSK, and who was the fourth team?
It was Carmelo and Trick.
And they're 2.0 as well. And they didn't do that. So MSK, and then at the end of the show, a team that's decidedly not 2.0, Imperium, attack. So there does seem it's hot-shotting, but it's kind of not also.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think they know? Do you think they know for certain, yes or no?
I guess part of the question is, had Samoa Joe not gotten hurt, would it make it more or less likely that, because I think Bron was going to be the first 2.0 contender for the title regardless.
I agree with that.
If Joe hadn't had to vacate the title, would that, so he walks into Halloween Havoc as champion, does that scenario make it more or less likely that Bron would win? Because Joe would have had the belt, 3-4 more weeks than Ciampa will have had it by then.
I would say with all the utmost certainty I could have without knowing anything about going on backstage, that Ciampa is simply like you take one guy. Plans were the exact same.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So my point was, if you're if posed with that question, if my answer was fairly confident, yes, Bron would still be scheduled to win the title had Joe still been champion. And there's no reason for me to think that Bron still wouldn't be in line to win now that Ciampa is champion. Because as you said, I think Samoa Joe got hurt. They just took Ciampa, put him in that spot. They'll continue booking as planned. And whatever's supposed to happen at Halloween Havoc will still happen.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say they're going to do the title change. I'm going to say they're going to do that. And here's why. There's nobody else in 2.0 that's kind of close to where, well, besides Tony D'Angelo. But Bron Breakker, I understand. After watching this for a couple weeks now, I get that Bron Breakker is the most ready guy. I still need to see a lot more to understand if he's going to come across as a real human or if he's just going to be Scott Steiner 2.0 and like just sort of a meme wrestler. But out of everybody, I understand, for example, why it's not. I think I'll put it this way. I think Odyssey Jones has the most potential out of everybody. I think he's got the most potential to be a person that can go heel or face, that can be devastating in the ring. He's got tons of charisma. I do think that he just needs to develop a little bit more. He needs a bit more of an identity.
Yeah.
Bron Breakker has an identity. It's the Steiners. I mean, it's there. Yeah. It's just that's who he is.
It is.
He seems comfortable in front of people. He seems comfortable in front of the mic. He understands who he is. You know, when you faced up against a guy like Von Wagner, who was, mumbly mumbles last night, like, I don't know who this guy is at all.
He likes to hit a tire with a sledgehammer. That's what I know about him.
And he has he seems to really like Kyle O'Reilly for reasons that he specified, but I still don't understand. Ridge Holland's moving on. He's got heart. Yeah, I guess he's got heart. But we all do. We all have a heart.
No, he doesn't say
anatomically correct,
Well, he didn't say you have a heart, which is, as you mentioned, factual for everybody.
Right, scientific.
Heart.
Oh,
like
metaphorically.
Gumption.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And I think everybody does have that. But I guess Von Wagner thinks Kyle O'Reilly has more than the average person.
Yeah.
Or heart.
I mean, dude, it's clear that like it's Bron Breakker, and then they have to sort of wait for everybody else to get there.
I'll interrupt here for a second to posit this because Vermillion says I think Bron gets too cocky and loses the match. Here's a potential wild card to be entered to the whole fray. Is that Joe Gacy stepped up to Ciampa and said, I want a shot at that too. Ciampa says, all right, championship contender match next week. If you beat me, sure, you can be in the match. Now, what could happen is if somehow Gacy beats Ciampa next week, is in the match, and then Ciampa pins him to retain the title, and they push on Bron, and rather than having the passing of the torch to a 2.0 guy happen so soon, maybe they have Ciampa involved some feuds with 1.0 talents.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
While these 2.0 talents develop a bit more, and down the road, Bron Breakker can say, yeah, you won that match. You didn't pin me. We never had our one-on-one battle. Let's do that. And then that's where Bron Breakker finally won.
I love
the possibility.
I love that you brought up Joe Gacy because you're totally right. He is a wild card. He's totally getting in that match, and you might be completely right with your prediction here. Joe Gacy is the other guy who completely understands what he's doing. We'll talk about him when we get to him, but Joe Gacy has a presence that you cannot deny. They might be doing him a disservice with the creative, or they're doing something that could be very interesting. I don't have faith that WWE would pull off interesting with this type of material, so I'm leaning towards they're simply doing him a disservice.
Same.
But I do want to talk about that in a little bit when we get to him. But clearly, the guy, number one, the guy's been wrestling for 16 years, and that was my takeaway from last night is that let me run down these matches really quick. So we had that one. Were there any matches that were straight up 2.0 guys versus 2.0 guys? I don't think there was. Pete Dunne versus Cameron Grimes, Tony D'Angelo versus Malik Blade. Okay, the Tony D'Angelo match, and that was technically speaking the worst match of them. But otherwise, I thought last night's episode was a big step up from the week before.
I thought the first hour definitely was. I thought the first hour was actually a fairly decent hour of wrestling. I thought the second hour started to it fell into a bit of a lull after that. I just thought it just kind of dragged.
Starting
the second
around
hour.
where? I'm looking at the breakdown right here.
I
generally
feel
speaking.
like
Was Pete Dunne versus Cameron Grunt? No.
I was in the second hour. I kind of felt like it was first. It was so you had two video packages back to back. You had the Coar Jade one, which is good, and then you had the Duke Hudson one, where he's a professional poker player now, like a gimmick that is like 20 years past its relevancy almost.
Yeah.
And I felt like right there is like this juxtaposition in my mind between what NXT 2.0 I think wants to be with the Coar Jade stuff, because it's her and she's riding her skateboard. And it was well done. I thought it was really well done.
It was. Yeah, it reminded me kind of like the subculture stuff. Yeah.
And then you have the Duke Hudson thing, which if not for the improved fidelity of the visuals, could have been produced in 1992.
You know what it looked like, dude? No, it's right. You're right. So like these days when shows from like the mid 90s go to streaming services, they'll often like up the resolution. They'll like present it the way like it was originally shot. Like Star Trek, that's the wrong reason. I know they do that with Star Trek.
They take the masters and
so you can see it like
remaster.
It's a lot higher fidelity. This looked literally like it was shot in 1994, the Duke Hudson thing, and they just used the master. They like remastered it. That's what it looked like. It was like the weird soft porno-y lighting. Like I was watching before 2.0. I was watching Pluto TV Star Trek channel, right? I don't know why they call it a Star Trek channel, because there's only Next Generation. They don't run anything else on that channel because they know Next Generation does the best. And so, but it's like from the 90s, right? And I flipped it over to 2.0 and Lacey comes in and that Duke Hudson thing is on there. She's like, is this still Star Trek? And I'm like, it looks like it. It looks like something filmed in the mid 90s. And he kind of looks like with that vest he was wearing without a shirt underneath. I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
It's bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
And so you just have, NXT 2.0 right there, back to back in two video packages. Stuff that's working, that's good. And then the stuff that just is literally like they're just trying to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Chime. So, Steve,
yes,
I'm sure you know the feeling. It's the end of the month, and maybe you're a little tight on money, so you got to deal with the stress of your account balance running low. That add on top of that, the prospect getting hit with that $33 overdraft fee if you happen to spend just a little bit too much. It's really enough to make you pull the hair out of your head and just stress and anxiety.
Yeah, man. Overdraft fees have gotten out of control. Get this. In 2019, traditional banks took in $11 billion in overdraft fees. But we're here to tell you that Chime does things differently.
Yeah, Chime is an award-winning app and debit card that has saved its members more than $10 billion in overdraft fees thanks to Spot Me fee-free overdraft. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no fees.
Now you deserve to have financial peace of mind. Join the millions of Americans already loving Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/raw. That's chime.com/raw.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Coar Bank or Stride Bank NA members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. Chime member overdraft fee savings based on eligible members' use of Spot Me versus $33 average overdraft fee. Overdraft fee data based on bank rate checking account survey and CRL June 2020 overdraft fees report.
Getting back to Bron Breakker, I think that I had said this at the outset. I said Bron is going to be the first guy to win the championship, assuming he doesn't basically fuck up on the way there. Meaning they're going to trot him out, give him some promos, have him be in the ring, here and there. And if he doesn't massively goof it up, then yeah, he's probably going to be the first guy because they probably see it backstage. They probably see it in the Performance Center.
Definitely.
And so far, he's passed the test, unless they see something out there that we don't see. But I could see maybe adding Gacy to the match is them allowing more time to really get a feel. Okay, is this the guy that we're going to crown? Because they might. It's entirely possible that they look at Joe Gacy, the fact that he did make the news. he does, I think, have a more compelling screen presence than Bron Breakker. They might want to go with him just for the buzzworthy nature of it. He's something that everybody has an opinion about. Like Bron Breakker, everybody's just like, oh yeah, great, it's Steiner. Joe Gacy, everybody has an opinion on him. Either they're trying to figure him out, they hate him, they love it, what have you. Everybody has an opinion on Joe Gacy. They might have tossed him in the match to become the first champion.
And another wild card in the whole thing is, so we had Parker Boudreaux make his debut. What's his name now? Gunnar Harland?
Last we heard, it was Gunnar Harland.
Yeah, so Gacy's taking his leave for after his match after beating Ikemen Jiro, and he's walking down the ramp. Standing up in the crowd is Gunnar Harland, or whatever his name's going to be, but they had him shave his head.
He looked a bit Nails-ish.
He looked like Michael Rooker. He looked like Michael Rooker.
He actually does literally look like Michael Rooker, but he was wearing like a sleeveless. It looked like a sleeveless like prison shirt, like it was like it was
hard to tell.
He was
just standing there with his arms crossed.
Yeah,
it was hard to tell.
So, do you want to hear my theory on Joe Gacy?
And I don't want. I'm sure you really want to talk about Tony D'Angelo. We'll get to that in a second. But yes, give me your fan theory.
Yeah, there's actually a lot to talk about with NXT 2.0 this week, just because we're trying to figure it out. And I am past what they did. All right, I can't look at it through the lens of what the hell did WWE do. You got it. It's like, okay, now we have the show, and we have to judge it.
We got to move on.
We got to judge it based on its own merits.
Yes.
So and it is interesting to watch from the standpoint of we're not just watching wrestlers learn, because they do have prominent pieces that have been around for a while. Like Ikemen Jiro versus Joe Gacy. That was a fine match last night. A little short, but it was a fine match. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. So just take this for what I think it might be. Here's my fan theory on Joe Gacy. What if he's a reformed Proud Boy? He kind of has the look, like the haircut and the beard. He kind of has the look, right? And he's coming out and being so obvious about, like, literally in his Tron, it says inclusivity. What was the other? What was it, like another one? It was like resistance or something like that.
Can't remember what it was.
And it's all these buzzwords, and it's like I really doubt it's that, because WWE has no idea what to do with that. But like, then he goes and he sees this dude staring at him. What if him and Gunnar Harland have like a history? And what if he's like, hey man, what happened to you? What have you turned into? Like, I have no clue if that's what they're going for, but like, I see it and I'm like, he's doing a really bad impersonation of what I guess they think is like Antifa or something like that. I don't know what it's supposed to be. A social justice warrior, whatever you want to call it. But he's being like it. And like, what if he's trying to run away from what he used to be? And he's doing it in a really clunky way because he doesn't quite grasp the idea of what he's saying. Because he also sort of comes off like that. Like he's a guy, he doesn't really grasp what he's talking about. Literally, he's a contradiction saying, this is a safe space. I want to solve things through words. And he can't. It has to be through violence.
Yeah. I know that's like the inherent contradiction in terms of how this character is portrayed is what kind of bothers me about it. Now, there's a clever way for them to go about him being contradictory in that respect. Where, during the course of the match, he does everything he can to avoid actual like confrontation. Maybe that means if he does, get any moves off, it's all reversals, and it's all technical stuff. He's not throwing blows.
Yeah.
And then at some point, ref's not looking or something, he cheats to win. He gets the win that way. Yeah. Like I feel like that's maybe that's what I just more so expect out of this particular character when he's saying, "Oh, this is a safe space. There could be two winners tonight," so on and so forth. And that's not what we're getting. And so for me, it's like there's a disconnect there. I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And the idea that you just threw out there, like I have zero faith that WWE would be in any way be able to handle that correctly.
I don't.
And knowing who, in the macro sense, I'm not talking about who's there day to day handling NXT creative, who in the macro sense is maybe overseeing WWE creative. Like, I don't have any, like, nothing tells me that they would even think about doing something as directly as that.
I don't necessarily think they would either. However, we do know certain things about Shawn Michaels and what he's had to check people backstage about certain things in the news, and he is running day to day. I do not know anything about Joe Gacy, the human being, like the person portraying him. If he came to like HBK or Vince or Bruce or whoever's running things there and said, hey, I have an idea for a character. He's a reformed MAGA guy, right? And for whatever reason. And then you bring in this Gunnar Harlan guy as the guy from his past who's trying to like reel him back in or something. I have no idea if that's the case. I'd be interested if the wrestler brought that idea to them and they're like, yeah, okay, run with it. We'll see where it goes. It probably is exactly what a lot of people here, like I see in chat here, Tronin says his character is just Vince's way to try to mock people on the left. It's stupid. That's entirely possible. And in fact, probably likely. They literally did Antifa as retribution. They did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out, and then it's like, well, they don't really know how to grasp those ideas and how to turn that into a compelling idea. So they just made them into people with masks. So I don't think so. But I'm watching the product and I'm like, hey, Joe Gacy does seem like, number one, he does have a good screen presence and he does have a charisma about him. I'd like to think that they're going to try something deeper. Are they? Probably not. Probably not. I think it'd be a cool idea, or at least it'd be an idea that I think would be worth in the right hands exploring. Is it pro wrestling and it's clunky and dumb because it's under WWE? Probably. But it's sort of the vibe I got. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to keep every week. I'm going to find little bits and pieces of this story.
All right.
And point it out. Oh, here we go.
If it turns out to be something not even close to that.
Yeah. He ends up being, in fact, he's like a recovering gambler who's like, and then he has a thing with Duke Hudson or something. A bad here in chat has the NXT 2.0 numbers, 632,000 viewers, 0.13 in the demo. Which is
about what it was last week.
Yeah, it was 1.14 in the demo, and I forget what the overall viewer. I thought the overall viewership was 640. No, 630. What was it?
There's something around there.
Yeah,
I can look.
That.
I'll look here.
That seems like probably.
All right, now talk about Tony D'Angelo because I know you really want to.
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought that. I'm trying to put my finger on it, man. But number one, the crowd at what do they call it now?
I don't know.
The NXT arena, CWC, whatever it is. The crowd there, I thought, was really good last night. They did not need to pump in any noise because I thought
they did though.
They did. Oh, they totally did. And I thought the crowd was good last night. They were really behind Tony D'Angelo, and I know
Let me stop you real quick. 655.14 last week.
Oh, so it went down another 20,000. Here's the thing about NXT 2.0. Don't get too excited about this show because I don't know it's going to be on the air for 6 more months. I mean, I don't know. They can find a way to boost ratings. Halloween Havoc, maybe that'll hit 700,000. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if it continues on this course, I don't know if it's going to stay on the air. But while it's on, we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
So he comes out, and they did, in fact, the intro to his music was Godfather-esque. It was the traditional whatever you'd hear, right? And then it kicks in, it's got a beat. Crowd was going nuts for Tony D'Angelo. He gets in, he tries to grease the ref. He gets in his ear.
Some money,
He tries to slip him some money. He tries to grease him. Is that an appropriate term? Because greasing somebody is when you try to bribe them. That's what it's the payoff.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. I like the velour tracksuit.
I love that. That was great. He's I think he's on the tall side, and he's well built.
He's muscular, yeah.
He's muscular. Yeah. You can tell, obviously, he's got a solid amateur background because he utilized some of that. I thought they put him in there with a smaller, very athletic opponent who could sell really well for him, Malik Blade. I thought that was good. Mm-hmm. I thought his character work was fine. I thought that was good. Mm-hmm. I thought that 70% of the match didn't need to be one headlock.
Yeah.
That was my main complaint because obviously, I mean, they probably signed this guy in February, so he probably knows this one match. But I thought he had a crisp-looking sort of snap-swinging neck breaker for his finish. That was fine. There wasn't a whole lot of storytelling in the match. It was very basic, but that's just sort of what we're getting from 2.0.
Yes.
But the crowd's behind him. I think the crowd wants this guy to succeed, you know? And maybe they're cheering him on in an ironic sense. But I hope the guy does well because they saddled him with this gimmick that, again, is very sort of divisive. And yeah, I'm all in, man. I'm all in. Tony D's my dude. He's the guy that I'm pulling for in NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking through the class, the February 2021 class.
It's all just people that are on TV right now, right?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yep, there's Tony D'Angelo.
There he is, see?
Yep, there he is.
That February class is going to end up like 20 years from now. People are going to be just talking about that class as like the most epic class ever to come out of wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was good stuff. Let's hop into it, man. We've been talking enough about NXT 2.0, so we'll just get into it. Kicked off. This was kind of a bummer to me. I mean, I always have to separate myself from, I really like Mandy Rose. I think she's great. But Ember Moon is one of my favorite in-ring wrestlers, period. Not in WWE, not in NXT, not in the women's division, period. Yes. Ember Moon is one of my favorite wrestlers. It's a shame she's never really been able to find a character that works for her. Mandy Rose ended up getting the win here. Not even with any, were there distractions from talk? It was just straight up win.
Well, yeah. Just for a little bit because it was earlier in the match though.
Right, I meant towards the finish. Yeah.
No, not towards the finish though. She hits Jacy Jane with a suicide dive. And then hits a apron powerbomb on Mandy. But then she gets distracted by Gigi for a moment. And so when she gets back in the ring, Mandy Rose can hit her in the back or something. And so Mandy Rose has the advantage for a bit. But yeah, no, I mean, Mandy Rose just evaded an eclipse, hits a running knee for the win.
Yeah. Yeah. She's always had a great V-trigger. She's always had a great knee.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks great. So I'm not mad at it. After that, we had Legado del Fantasma promo commentaries talking about Hit Row heading to SmackDown. So Santos and his friendos talk about SmackDown saving Hit Row, claiming that Swerve and them are running away from them. He says, but prove you're a man by facing me for your NXT 2.0 North American Championship. So that'll probably go down at Halloween Havoc, I'd imagine.
No, it's next week.
Oh, that's happening next week. Okay, never mind. That was announced.
Next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was announced next week.
Ooh, that'll be a good one.
It'll be a good match, yeah. After that, we had Odyssey Jones versus LA Knight. Finish of this one saw Jones with the upper hand, and Andre Chase of Andre Chase University, of course, runs out to the apron. Jones hits him off. But while Jones is distracted by Chase, LA Knight hits Odyssey with a neck breaker from behind. He covers. Jones gets his foot under the rope, so they should break up the cover. Chase, though, pushes his foot back into the ring. Ref doesn't see it. LA Knight gets the win.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised that LA Knight didn't go to main roster.
I'm surprised a lot of the veterans of NXT didn't go to the main roster.
He was
maybe after Halloween Havoc, if we see some title changes, maybe it'll happen then. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Just because it's a draft doesn't mean they have to take him there. After that, we had a Cameron Grimes interview. He talks about love being in the air. He's on the search to find himself some love, Larson. Pete Dunne shows up, and he just starts yelling. I don't know why. He just shows up. He's like, there's not a woman alive that wants you. And Dunne says, I'm still the baddest man in NXT. He's just going around screaming that at everybody. Grimes completely no-sells him. He's like, yeah, fine. He's like, come on, face me in a match. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And because he has his eyes set, he's got a couple of ladies over there. So he goes over there. There's some Poindexter talking to them. He says, scram. And then he's like, hey, how's it going? Are you guys taken or something like that? And she's like,
says, are either of you single?
That's not the most clever. For a guy who's pretty clever, it's not the most clever pickup line. Hey, you single?
No. So after that, Kyle O'Reilly, he steps up to Von Wagner. Says, hey, do you have a second? And he says, I want to know why you have my back. Von tells him, I saw an opportunity. I jumped on it. I don't like Ridge Holland or Pete Dunne any more than you do, but I respect you, Kyle O'Reilly. You got heart. And he keeps talking a little bit. Kyle O'Reilly cuts him off and says, Von Wagner says, he wants to talk about trust. Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly says, based on the last year I've had, I don't trust anybody. I appreciate what you did. Let me handle my business. Stay out of my way.
Yeah, this is such a weird. Somebody done like. Yeah, I'm just looking at his words again here.
It's a weird dynamic, I know.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic. He should be like, look, man, I'm new here. I don't really know. Yeah, you seem like you know where you're.
You look like you know how to wrestle, and I want to learn how to wrestle better.
I want to learn how to wrestle better.
Be your friend.
Yeah, I found a dead body on my property, and I'm trying to figure it out. And do you know what I should do with dead body? God, he's like, what? Nothing. After
Never mind. Disregard.
Disregard that, please. Tommaso Ciampa comes out. He calls out anyone in the locker room to challenge him. I don't know why he didn't just call out Braun Breaker, because clearly this is the guy.
We all knew that was going to happen.
Right?
Know.
So Braun Breaker comes out. He says he's got gigantism in his balls, which is a pretty shocking revelation. He's like, I got the biggest balls of anybody in that locker room. And he says, so I want to challenge him. And he says he doesn't care if he's been here 4 minutes, 4 days, or 4 months. He wants the NXT title. It's like, no, man, you've been there, 8 months now. So you can't say 4 years, though. Ciampa says, the difference between me and you, Braun Breaker, is that I need this title. You just kind of mildly want it. And he says, but at Halloween Havoc, you'll get your shot.
Yeah. After that, we have a Joe Gacy promo, not in the ring. He's in the room. And he says, while the world stood still, social media platforms crashing, he says, I sat with my voice, the voice of a righteous and inclusive generation. He says, I know one platform that won't crash, and that's NXT 2.0. Of course, that remains to be seen. He continues. He says, and tonight I use the ring as a safe space, as my safe space, and will prove that conflict can be resolved peacefully, that there can be two winners.
Well, one winner. After that, we had. I saw just the first part of this when Indi Hartwell was talking about the large size of Dexter Loomis's organ.
Yeah, that's pretty much, Persia's asking Indi how the honeymoon went. Says amazing. She really wore out Dexter Loomis. That's why he's not at the show tonight. They went through 2 packets.
Yeah, 2 packets.
Yeah.
Not 2, 2 packages.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
What is there? It's been it's like 12?
I think so. That sounds right. And then that's when she was talking about Loomis. Anyways, they notice smoke's coming out from underneath the door, just like in the hallway. And so they open the door, and then there's Boa in there with Mei Ying. Mm-hmm. Like they're talking. And Boa just turns around and yells at him to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So they close the door and leave. And then from that, a match happened.
Yeah. Yeah. 9.5. Jeez. It's like Dirk Diggler down there, man. It's like an Eddie Adams situation at a pool party. I see it, please.
Right now?
Yes, please. Go watch Boogie Nights, people. It's great. It's great.
After that, we had Ikemen Jiro versus Joe Gacy. Again, Joe Gacy kind of made some really superficial.
Jonathan said 9.5 soft. SAWFT.
Like Joe Gacy was trying to play peacekeeper in the most superficial and non-substantial ways possible during this match. He was actively trying to hit moves.
Yeah. His finish is great, and it's explosive. It's a handspring lariat.
Clothesline, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it's that's the point, though. It's explosive and violent, and it's yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to see if the contradiction in this character is intended, or they just don't know how to do it. I mean, right now I'm not sure.
History dictates it's the latter, but
I know, that's why.
I'm trying to give some benefit of the doubt, and I know I'm like Charlie Brown and Lucy. I get that, but I don't know. Maybe you got a guy like Joe Gacy. Maybe he's interested in telling complex stories. I don't know.
Well, he might, but I don't feel like WWE is terribly interested in telling complex stories. If you want to know why, just listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast.
I know.
Another situation where I don't have faith WWE do anything actually interesting with this. WWE proved me wrong. Anyways, afterwards, he helps up Gacy, helps up Jiro, gives him a hug. He leaves, and as mentioned earlier, up standing in the crowd, I don't know, like 8 rows up. I don't know if there's 8 rows there. 6 rows maybe. There's Gunnar Harlan, whatever they're calling Parker Boudreaux now, standing, just staring at Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy looks back up and kind of smirks at it, but that's it.
Yeah, so I don't know if Parker Boudreaux is supposed to have known him already.
Don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
And commentary didn't even name Parker Boudreaux. They just like,
look at that weird fan here in the
yeah
NXT zone. Maggie says if the lower third for Dexter doesn't simply say 9.5 when he debuts on main, then what's the point? I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah. Then we had the 2 video packages I mentioned earlier. Cora Jade, where she talks about I think she said, I don't know if it was during this or if commentary mentioned it, that she graduated from high school early, so she began wrestling training earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of, so her riding her skateboard, a lot of energy to it. It was pretty well put together. And after that, you get this cheesy Duke Hudson video package where he's a pro poker player now.
Right, he's a pro poker player. This poor fucker.
But why was he the dealer in this thing?
Wait,
he was a dealer.
He wasn't a dealer.
Yes, he was.
Was he?
He was the dealer. He was the dealer in Duke's poker room.
He was naked except for a vest and like a gold chain.
He was sitting there dealing out the 5 cards in front of him, and when the other guy didn't win, he like slammed his fist on the table.
Oh,
he was a dealer.
So he's like Johnny Swinger.
Yeah, this is Swinger's Palace.
He's got what's his name? John E. Bravo, the dealer. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a dealer.
It's called Duke's Poker Room. Okay.
Yeah, it was Duke's Poker Room. Yeah.
I just thought he was a fucking he was playing some strip poker or something like that.
I guess he could be the dealer for that. I don't know.
It was just a smoky ass room. Some poor sap goes in there. He's like, oh, it's just a dude in a fucking vest, like a gold vest.
He's like, this guy in a vest in an empty room. This should be easy money. Instead,
look at this,
like
Mark.
you after episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Right?
Nothing.
He's like, oh man, I've been kicked out of all the other casinos. So I'm going to go into this fucking dark ass room, this weird smelly room with this naked guy with a vest who's got a poker table. All right, Duke, come on, let's go at it. And Duke's like, I've got some bad news.
Yeah. Take it for all he's worth.
He was the deal. That's great. Oh, God damn.
Anyways, I'm hoping in 2 weeks Duke Hudson has like a new gimmick because this is awful.
I hope every week a new vignette with a new vocation. This week, card dealer. Next week, repo guy. Well, no, I already did that. Next week, a pawn shop guy. Hardcore pawn. That's good.
No, that wouldn't be good either. Vocational gimmicks there's usually a limit to a vocational gimmick.
No way, man. If you got a job, you got a wrestling gimmick. That's what I say. Cybersecurity expert. Duke Hudson.
All right. Anyways,
car
after that,
salesman.
Okay.
Bathroom attendant. Thank you, Enforcer.
All
Chat's just listing off all sorts of different
throwing out various vocations.
Yeah. Wrestling pod fluffer.
Oh God. All right. Next, Cora Jade versus Virginia Ferry. Well, we thought that was going to be the match. Franky Monet pulls Virginia Ferry out of the ring before the bell even rings.
You thought you were going to have a match? You're wrong.
You're wrong. Hits her with the glam slam on the floor, and the Robert Stone goes and yells to the ring announcer, "This is the new match. Franky Monet is her opponent." And the ring announcer was like, "What, really?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's official." And then that was the match.
Regal is just locked up in his room. I think last week he made some announcement about a title or something. Nowhere to be found this week. Nowhere to be found. I'm taking a vacation. Like they had that whole thing with him and Samoa Joe where it was like, oh, you got to get control of this place. I'm going to help you. You're wrong. We made it up.
Hit that reset button. That's a reset button, man.
That's a reset button right there, man. We made it up.
Made it up anyway. So Franky Monet is dominating this match. Trey Baxter comes out to help, cheer on Cora. Apparently it worked to some degree because Franky's going for another glam slam, and Cora Jade reverses that into a roll up to get the win.
Yeah, that was cool. The crowd was into that too. The crowd's starting to learn. The characters are, figuring them out. What's her face? That came a little bit later. So after that, we had an MSK interview, but that quickly just went off the rails because they were asked about their original
Totally
8-man match being turned into the Fatal 4-Way. Grizzled young veterans come in. They say, "Oh, you found another loophole, huh? You found 2 more opponents because you don't want to face us, tag team to tag team." I was going to say man to man, but you get the point. He says, because you can't pin us. And MSK said, fine, we'll make it an elimination match. And then Jensen and Briggs come in, and the other guys come in, and they all just start fighting everywhere. And I'm like, if they really should have done that, where like they turned into the Grizzled Young Veterans versus MSK, but I guess they're just sort of waiting for that for later or something. I don't know.
Maybe it'll happen at Halloween Havoc. Who knows?
Could be, yeah.
Who knows?
After that, we had a Tommaso Ciampa interview, but that was quickly interrupted by Joe Gacy. He says, Ciampa, I heard you say, call out the person with the biggest balls in the locker room, but you're putting out all that toxic energy, saying, I speak for the people who feel they don't have a voice, and I want a shot at your title. And Ciampa says, fine. You beat me next week, you can hop into the main event at Halloween Havoc. And Gacy tries to hug him. He's like, no. And then he used his own catchphrase against him. I forget exactly what he said. He
says, the ring won't be a safe space for you next week.
It's not going to be a safe space,
Yeah. Then we got Pete Dunne versus Cameron Grimes. So the finish of this, Pete Dunne kick Cameron Grimes. He goes to the corner, rip off the turnbuckle. He's just trying to distract the ref. So Ridge Holland pulls Grimes to the apron. He's about to hit him with the nightstick. Kyle O'Reilly runs out to make the save. He brawls with Ridge Holland a little bit. Pete Dunne comes out to ringside. He throws Kyle O'Reilly over the announce table, turns around. Grimes hits him, Dunne, with a PK, a penalty kick, puts him back in the ring. He's looking for a cave-in. Dunne evades, kind of does a reverse powerbomb on the top rope, hits bitter end to get the win. Mm-hmm. Kyle O'Reilly tries to attack after the match. Ridge, Holland, and Pete Dunne just lay him out, destroy him.
Yeah, yep. After that, we had a Hit Row promo. They're very happy about being drafted to SmackDown. They said, yeah, everybody's buzzing about us, but nobody's buzzing about you. We're not running from you. SmackDown chose us. We're running to the money. And Swerve accepts the challenge from Santos Escobar.
Yeah, and then we find out that during the commercial break, Von Wagner came out to the ring to help Kyle O'Reilly to the back.
He had kind of a Buster Bluth vibe. He kept on like, hey, brother. Trying to rub his shoulders. Oh, hey, Kyle. Von Wagner, leave me alone. After that,
is Von Wagner going to go to Army?
Yeah, he's going to go to Army. Oh, man. After that, we had Tony D'Angelo versus Malik Blade. We already talked about this, really. A lot of headlock, tries to bribe the ref. Big response. Tony, he had this cool looking takedown / spear type thing that looked kind of cool. It looked, the moves that he had were fairly explosive and crisp, and I like that. It's just probably going to be a little while before he can put together like a real match, like a long match,
Yeah.
So he gets the win there with like a swinging neck breaker.
Like a swinging, like fisherman neck breaker type deal.
Right.
But it did have a good amount of snap to it.
Mm-hmm. After that, we had a Carmelo and Trick interview where they just talk about their thoughts on the match. I didn't really write any notes for what they said.
It's just they were just talking about how they got into this tag title match, and Carmelo didn't even have to use his contract. Now
that I remember it, it was just like they just started throwing their catchphrases around incessantly. I don't miss. He doesn't miss. I don't miss. And then I forget what Trick says, like bout it or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. After that, we had Indi Hartwell versus Mei Ying. This match was booked because Indi Hartwell was evidently concerned there was a fire going on at the CWC. She opened a door to check. No, it wasn't a fire. It was just Mei Ying and Boa that angered Mei Ying. Therefore, this match happened. They got to do something about the lighting in the CWC during these Mei Ying matches. Like the mystique is gone,
dude. So like again, this is one of those things where I've just elected to move on from it because the presentation still is atrocious to me. It's gaudy, it's ugly. it's not, you can have all these, like in the logo up here, if you're watching YouTube, all these fucking colors in the logo. You can have that if like the vibe is sort of graphic design wise sound, and it's just thrown. It's just a mess.
It's
everywhere.
Just bright.
It's
like
just bright.
The aesthetic is just bright.
It's just a mess. Like you look at any given moment, if the camera, if the entrance is in the background, it's just this garbled, buzzy, noisy mess of color, and it's ugly. So that's going to be like one of the last things I say about that. But dude, they're going to have an issue if they want anybody with mystique at all, because Mei Ying is all mystique, and it looks goofy out there. It looks comical.
Yeah, with the arena so bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
And then she lost. So
yeah.
So Mei Ying and Indi, they tumble out of the ring to the floor. Mei Ying pushes Indi into the ring post. About to kick her. Persia pushes Indi out of the way and eats the boot herself. And then Indi pushes Mei Ying into the ring post, puts her back in the ring, hits the springboard elbow for the win. Her and Persia walk up the ramp, and Mei Ying sits up kind of like the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's no mystique to it now.
No, there really isn't. Even like when, a similar type character, Su Yung, in Impact, they like bring fog up. They dick with the lights a little bit, and it's like, Impact is just it's lit like a normal wrestling show. This is not. This is lit like a Nickelodeon kid show. It's so
super bright.
It's really bright. You could see every single person in there in their cross arms, and they're doing their phones and stuff.
I don't know why. You know what really bothers me is when the shot's right and you can see like what's on the ceiling. And you can see what's on the walls that aren't covered by all this bright LED stuff.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, it just makes the space seem small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it bothers me.
Yeah, they really should have called up all of Tian Shaw. They really should have. Because you put Tian Shaw on Raw and it looks normal. It's like, okay, that works. SmackDown, a little bit less because that's a pretty bright show. But Raw, red and blacks, it's, it works. Anyways, backstage, we've got, what's her full name? Lash
Legend.
Lash Legend. Thank you. Talking about next week's episode. She's like, it's going to be a great, they're like in a kitchen somewhere. And then Tony D shows up. He offers himself up as a guest. And then she's like, yeah, maybe. She claims then to be, that her talk show was such fire that it shut down Facebook and Instagram. She's claiming responsibility.
Yeah. After that, we had a Diamond Mine video package. It's pretty much Malcolm Bivens doing profiles on each
roll
member
call
of Diamond Mine. But I thought it was pretty solid.
I thought this was really well done. I'm really just glad that Malcolm Bivens gets to talk regularly on TV. Because I thought he was really good here. Yeah, he introduced everybody and sort of what they brought to the table, and then they got to talk a little bit. But this was a really well produced segment.
Was really well
it was really good stuff. I mean, I honestly wish that if it wasn't, they could have done 2.0 a lot better in presentation. Like this kind of thing, if this was a bit more par for the course, like when we were talking about Gable Steveson on the Raw recap the other day. And I thought it'd be cool. He's drafted. You're building him a thing. Why don't you do little segments like this, updating us on his progress? That could be really cool. So by the time we see him and he debuts, we give a shit. 2.0 should be a lot more like this,
Especially with a bunch of new talent.
Yeah.
Little video packages. Like the Coar Jade one, I thought was really good because it felt genuine,
Yeah, I know.
It felt like this is her turned up to 11 essentially,
Yeah.
And then again, you got the Duke Hudson thing, which is like the fifth gimmick he's had since we first seen him, and you're like, this is just something they just pulled out of the box of gimmicks.
The worst.
Here, Duke, you're a pro poker player now.
Yeah. What?
And as charismatic and as charming as Duke may be, there's nothing genuine about it.
No, it's
nothing.
not. It doesn't cater to him at all. He did not show up and say, hey, I think I should be a poker dealer. I mean, maybe offhand he was like,
it's probably this. Here. It's like they set him down. It's like, here, tell us some things you like to do. I like to go to my buddy's house and play cards. You're a poker player.
Say no more. Say no more.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have other interests. No. What you just said is it. We're short on time. We got this. They're like, we got this.
Put this gold vest on and go to this room.
We got this gold vest we found in the box. You can put this on and a gold chain? No. Do it. Yeah.
After that, we had a Raquel Gonzalez interview. She says that she's received Toxic Attraction's message.
Toxic Attraction.
And it's like, hey, this title I've got. Sorry, she says, I've been dominating the women's division for a year. This title I have is not a fashion accessory. This belt means you're the best woman in the best women's division. And she tells Mandy, if you think Saray's drop kick messed up your face, touch this title again, and you won't be posing for pictures on the gram. You'll be posing for a body cast. So Toxic Attraction comes to the stage. Mandy tells Raquel to stop. She used to admire her, but now she's become desperate. And you're a desperate champ who knows your reign is coming to an end. They're taking over, and not even the unstoppable Raquel Gonzalez is going to slow them down. And then Gigi says, Mandy is championship material. Myself and Gacy, championship material. And then she says to Raquel, like, you can just all you can do is stare in awe. And Raquel says, what I can't stop staring at is the staples I put in Mandy's head after hitting her with the title. Anyways, Toxic Attraction, they circle the ring. They're about to attack. Zoe and Io run out to make the save.
Yep. Backstage, Von Wagner. Hey, Kyle. Hey, brother. He says, next week it's you and me versus Ridge and Pete, brother. He says, whether you like it or not, I'm the only one that has your back. He kind of like, when I heard him talk, he kind of talks like the B-man, Patrick Sparks, here on the show. Hey, friendo. Hey, Kyle O'Reilly. Next week, you got you and me versus Ridge and Pete. I'm the only one that has your back. I don't know where he's from.
I'm checking that right now.
Yeah, because he I don't know where's Patrick from again? Hey, friendos, Pat here.
He's from New England, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm giving him more of a Minnesota vibe, though. Is Pat here in the chat? I don't know. So you look that up. Backstage, Raquel is telling Io and Zoe she didn't need their help. And Zoe's like, yeah, Io's like, well, I don't
Von
like
Wagner
you.
is from Minnesota.
Oh, it sounds like it then. That's why.
Oh, my internet went out for a second.
No, you're back.
Minnesota.
He
He's from
sounds
Minnesota.
like he's from Minnesota. Hey, Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, we're going to take them on, That's going to be fun. So, yeah, Io's like, I don't like you very much. And Zoe's like, chill out, Io. I know you don't like anybody. And so they're like, Zoe's like, we're all champions. We have to act like it. And then Indi and Persia come up, and they're like, you're not for very long. We're going to be tag champions, so they're going to go after those titles.
Yeah. Then we get our main event, Fatal Fourway tag team match. That's elimination, too. Elimination. Fatal Fourway tag team match. You got Briggs and Jensen. You got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. You got Grizzled Young Veterans and MSK. Trick and Carmelo, the first eliminated after MSK hit their finisher on Trick Williams. Later on, Gibson thinks he has Wesley pinned. However, he was not aware that Briggs had tagged himself in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Briggs and Jensen hit Gibson with a double choke slam, pin him. Grizzled Young Veterans eliminated. So Briggs and Jensen are looking for like a double team powerbomb on Wesley. Carter breaks that up by tackling Briggs out of the ring. Lee then hits Jensen with a Hurricane Rana right into a roll up to get the win. MSK retains. Afterwards, Briggs and Jensen, they pick up those tag titles and they just give them to MSK. They kind of tried to milk it a little bit like, oh, are we going to turn heel? So they leave. But when they leave, Imperium hits the ring and attacks MSK. Briggs and Jensen eventually, it takes them a little bit, run back to the ring to help.
Yeah.
And then Imperium just leaves.
Yeah. And that's it. That's NXT 2.0.
Yeah. You want to do a quick preview of Dynamite here? There's only 4 matches.
All right. So what do we got? Because I got to start. So we're doing our predictions during the show.
During the show,
Impact
like we did
style.
the last Impact show. Yeah.
We just refer
style.
to that Impact style at this point.
So there's 4 matches announced.
Elite versus...
There's the Elite versus Bryan Danielson and Friends. Of course, that's Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. There's Sammy Guevara defending the TNT title against Bobby Fish. There's Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida.
Okay.
And then the Casino ladder match, where there's Mox, Lance Archer, Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, Pac, and Andrade and the Joker.
What's the record for the Joker winning these things?
Pretty good.
All right. All right. All right. I'd like this is going to come down to the casino ladder match. I feel like
so?
I feel like our predictions are going to come down to that. I do.
All right.
Because the others, I mean, with the exception of maybe the Elite versus Bryan and Friends, but I feel like the Elite's going to win that.
Really? I kind of feel like it's going to go the other way.
You think so? You didn't see the go home to that on Rampage though.
What happened?
You have to watch the show. No. The Bryan had Kenny Omega in the label lock, while right in front of him, Jungle Boy had Adam Cole in the snare. And so the go home math was really good for the Elite there.
For the Elite. I just kind of feel like I wonder if they're going to do a thing they're going to give Danielson. Like Kenny's going to dodge Danielson at every turn, but in the process, Danielson is going to start beating members of the Elite so he gets his record up enough to maybe justify another title match.
Yeah, Bryan needs to get that record up, huh? But it's not a singles match. Doesn't that matter?
Not the overall record, I don't think.
No? All right. Yeah, maybe it'll be them. I don't know. I'll see.
But then again, maybe it's a tag match, so it won't count. I don't know.
Who's the weakest man of all? How many is it? 6 man? Is that what it is? 4 man?
It's 8 man.
8 man.
So it's Kenny, it's Cole, it's the Young Bucks
versus
Danielson, Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus.
Cole did beat Jungle Boy, but it was also a cheaty win. Yeah, I'll think about that one. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, but otherwise, Sheeta's totally gonna win, and Sammy Guevara's totally gonna win.
Yeah, Sammy's totally gonna win.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and answer some questions.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I just put up a post today. Let's see if wow, 4 comments. 4 questions. Moses opposes. Oh, there already was a thread. I did one last night. Wow, look at me.
Oh wow.
I was so excited. Here we go. 9 questions. Moses opposes. If NXT 2.0 became the NXT game show of old, which current roster member would do best?
Oh, so if
I feel
NXT 2.0 talent was okay.
Yeah, I feel it'd be Gacy. I feel it'd be Joe Gacy. Now, if the question is, that's kind of unfair because he's been wrestling for like ever. It's like
how much of the original NXT, the game show, how much of that was kayfabed?
I have no idea. No clue.
I don't think I ever watched it.
No idea, but I get the feeling that obviously they had matches and the matches were kayfabed. I don't know about like the competition aspect of it. I imagine that was probably a shoot.
Yeah, that's how I meant.
That was probably a shoot because
maybe.
I'm going to take Gacy out of it. Just people who were signed in February who would do the best. You got Braun Breaker, Von Wagner.
No, Von Wagner's been around for a while. He's been in NXT for a while.
Okay, well, let's just, when I say February, I mean people that
debuted in the 2.0 era. Yes.
Right. Like NXT class, like Gacy was wrestling Briggs was wrestling also. Jensen is new. Jensen is,
Yeah, we haven't seen Jensen on TV.
Right.
Prior to 2.0. I mean, I still give the edge based on what we've seen to Braun Breaker. Of the 2.0 guys, his character is the most genuine. He seems the most comfortable on the mic. Granted, it's a very small sample for in-ring. What I've seen, he can comport himself fine.
Yeah, it's Breaker.
In terms of the total package, you got to give the edge to Braun Breaker.
I mean, this question here is given Stevie, the Enforcer, Stevie Bradley. Tony D'Angelo, Hall of Famer, yay or nay? I mean, right now, yay. He's on the road. Look at how first match, he already has that crowd just thoroughly behind him.
All right. Bear winning power rank who you would put in a faction with Tony D'Angelo to make a new FBI. Only requirement, they have to be of Italian descent.
I don't know who else is no. Where's Fabian Eichner from?
Italy, I believe.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's the guy. I'll continue as you look. Rich, Mandy versus Raquel. Is Mandy going to take that title? And why is the answer 100% yes?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is interesting. Frederick the Dino says, I checked who Joe follows on Twitter to see if there's a possibility that he pitched similar to something that what Steve mentioned.
Yeah.
Gacy is definitely a shoot liberal, which could still mean he just got this character. I mean, yeah, it could totally mean that he still just got the character foisted upon him, but makes you wonder, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Dang MQ with Crown Royal on a Thursday at the same time as NXT UK. What is the schedule for that day? We'll do Crown Royal, I guess.
Crown Royal's not going to go up against NXT UK.
No, they're in the same thing.
They're in the same thing.
So if anything, NXT UK will either be postponed or preempted or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll push it later.
What time does Crown Royal start?
11? 10? 10 or 11 in the morning.
On a Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. Oh, we're going to be without the enforcer. That sucks.
I know.
What a bummer. Rich's question. I think Mandy's probably going to beat Raquel. What do you think? Raquel should be drafted. She should go up to main roster.
She should have been drafted. Yeah, absolutely. I honestly have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Because,
I mean... Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. NXT has us perplexed. Gregory Fiella. Why does Parker look like Hellraiser now? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, no, not in that arena. I was going to say, wouldn't it be cool if they made him look like a pseudo Hellraiser guy?
If they said if he looked like Pinhead?
Yeah. But not in that arena.
The house light's so bright, we're like, all right, this is lame.
It's so
It's like the worst makeup I've
ever
seen.
It's like when Evil came out with his like laser fingers.
Yeah. Jimmy Thomas and kayfabe, why would you ever tag in an elimination tag match?
No, I know. I get that. Yeah, I get that. You'd never break up a pin either unless it's your guy.
Yeah. White Brownie, if the viewership and demo continues to dip, could you see them changing the booking for 2.0? No, I don't think they care. This is all about developing new talent.
Well, okay.
So long as USA is not threatening to cancel the show, that's the only thing that might convince them to do something different.
And according to that Sean Ross Sapp, to the Fightful Select article, USA is pretty happy with the changes. So I don't know, man.
600,000 for that time spot, good for USA. Could be. I don't know.
I mean, look, if we had always heard that TNT would be happy with 500,000 for Dynamite.
Yep.
So that's always what I go by. 500,000 seems like you're doing good. I don't know if you want to flirt with, doing just 130 better than that, but if you book out special events to aim at, Halloween Havoc, and if you tried to get some buzz around your product.
Enforcer has his own pitch meeting here. Enforcer, what do you like to do? I like to look for horse. Say no more. You're a wildlife photographer.
Enforcer says, oh, here we go. I feel a cough coming on whenever that day of Crown Royal is. Can't come in. Sorry. Nice. We might have the Enforcer with us. Don't tell his bosses there. Patrick Sparks says, book a feud between Duke and Tony D, starting with Tony holding up Duke's poker room. Oh, that's good. He holds up Duke. He gets the protection money. That's a thing, wasn't it? That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Protection. Isn't that what De Niro's Brando did in Godfather? In Godfather 2.0? De Niro was a 2.0 guy. They brought in another guy to play Brando? Yeah, it's the De Niro kid. Oh, man. Anthony R., do you think the blueprint for 2.0 is them doing TV shows building up to TV events? Is that we're going to get instead of takeovers? I believe so.
Possible.
I think it is entirely probable that we're going to get that. Yeah. I think maybe it'd be cool if they did like annual. Good Lord, I've got a ton of these Milk Dud boxes in my garbage right here.
How many Milk Duds have you been eating?
I love Milk Duds, man.
Oh, they're great. They're so sticky though. They get caught in your teeth. That's why I can't stand. That's quite a few. Oh, that's 4.
It's 4. It's 4. It's 4 at the top of my garbage.
Oh, all right. Well, there's like 2 or 3 Milk Duds per box.
Well,
right?
here's the thing. My stepkid Summer, she got like a whole giant bag of candy, and so I just go into her room and I take it, and then she yells at me. So I gotta go to Winco and get a new bag for her because she just yells at me a lot.
My goodness.
Got a lot of little mini Kit Kat wrappers in here.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, that's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some questions. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.